Hello, everyone. How are you?
Hello.
I am Giovanna Xavier, Associate to NewCo Latam, and today we're going to talk about Brazilian taxations. Today I'm with Arcilon Rocha. Hi, Arcilon, how are you?
Hey, hello. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here
Arcilon,
today.
all right. Arcilon is our CEO, and we are also with João Paulo Weller, our
Hi, everyone.
CFO.
Hi,
Hi.
everyone. Thanks for your audience. And let's get started, right?
Right. Let's get started with our first question. Do we have VAT in Brazil?
Yes, we do have VAT in Brazil, but it's a tax that have a different name. Actually, we have just not only one VAT. We have many of them. Let's count it together with you guys. So we have the most famous one. That's the federal ones. That's the PIS. That's PIS. It's spelled PIS. We have the COFINS. That's spelled COFIS. NLs. NLs. We have API. IPI. Is EPI. We call here. We have ISS and we have EICMS. So we have basically five VAT taxes in Brazil. Just to summarize here, API, PIS/COFINS is federal taxes, ICS is municipality taxes, and ICMS is state taxes. So, as we have been saying here before in our previous lives that we did, definitely in Brazil, it's not that easy and it's kind of complicated. But yeah, we have VAT in Brazil, and we can explain on the next question how it works each one of them.
Yes, it's a bunch of different taxes, right? So it's sometimes it's hard to explain this for foreigners. We know that, but when we compare the taxes as an VAT, it gets simpler. Some changes are we are facing some change here in Brazil into the Brazilian tax reform. So we're gonna talk more about that in this live. So we really believe that things going to be more easier from now. But that's it, a bunch of taxes that we can call VAT, right, Ursula?
Exactly. Yeah, basically five of
So
them.
yeah, let's go.
All
Uh,
right. Could you talk a little bit about what is VAT number?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, a few people call VAT number, a few people call it tax ID, tax number. Yeah, different ways that we can call. But basically in Brazil, we have a tax ID that's CNPJ, that's CN, it spells CNPJ, okay? It's basically the number that you use all over the tax authority, government, state services, and everything, municipality service, federal service, where you can use that number. You can issue your invoice. You can provide that number to your vendors, your clients. So it's the main number that you have your registration on the market, on the databases of the tax authorities. Basically that number is CNPJ, spelled CNPJ. Okay, so it's our VIT number, and some of them call tax ID, tax number, whatever, is the same thing. We have just one for federal, but we have also a municipality number that also is kind of a VIT number too. But the main one, I would say the main one, the principal one, it's the CNPJ.
All
sure.
right. And how to calculate VAT in Brazil? Could you give a simple and practical example?
Yeah, sure. Let's. I will try to make it easy. Don't be much more specific. But yeah, first of all, as we said on the beginning of our first question, okay. So we have federal, we have state, and we have municipality taxes. Okay, municipality taxes, it's burden over service. Okay, the ISS, ESS in Portuguese, it's the service VAT taxes. Okay. On state taxes, we call the ICMS, ICMS in Portuguese. That's basically for goods, for products. And we have the federal ones. And we have the API that's basically for industry. And we have the fiscal fins that's for all kind of products, services, and everything. The interesting thing that it's in Brazil, taxes, it's included on the price of the product or the service that you sell. Okay, so in I would say in most of the countries out of Brazil, or most of the transaction out of the Brazil, let's say, I'm not quite sure which countries do the same as Brazil. It's usually you sell the service, you sell the product, and comes you add the VAT number, you add the VAT tax and whatever it is. So it's really usually when you're going US, you buy the product and you see on your receipt, on your invoice, you see the VAT, or you receive any transaction from abroad, you see the invoice and the VAT number. But in Brazil, it works different. Usually, when you provide a service, you have to provide that invoice, and inside that invoice already have the VAT taxes. But it's pretty simple. When you do your tax calculation, you get your gross amount or your of the revenue, and you apply the specific taxes for that nature of transaction. If it's a service, could be between 2 to 5%. If it's ECMS, it depends of the states. Fiscal fees, it depends on the tax regime that you are. So depends on the nature, depends of the regime where you are. It depends the state you are. It depends on the city you are located. So trying to simple a little bit, but I would say the main difference that we have from other countries, VAT, it's included on the final price of the product of the service you are providing or you receive.
Oh, thanks, Ursula, for explaining. We know that it sounds a little, I could say, strange because we have a lot of VATs, uh, and it depends on of the nature of the business and the deal that you are working on. But the idea here is to for foreigners who wants to come to Brazil as a company, uh, NewCo Latam helps to find the correct way or the best way for explaining the taxes for the nature of the activity of this company. So if you need some kind of help on that way, just contact our team. We're gonna help you from the beginning to find the best way and to find a way of being, you know, here in Brazil we can talk more about next question, but we have here in Brazil, tax reform that's we are facing here nowadays, and this tax reform intends to help us to explain this as in a simpler way for companies, foreigner companies actually. So the idea is how to combine the old style of taxation in Brazil to the new one. We know that the things will just change the names actually, because we know that the total amount that Brazil asks for taxes here, it will not change, just the name. So the idea here is to NewCo can help you to understand taxation in Brazil from the beginning of the business here in Brazil. That's the main point here. So we're going to go to the next question. If you let me
No, no,
ask.
you're saying really interesting thing because sometimes we have a few clients that comes to us and they have a different view of Brazil, and sometimes when we do the pre-analysis of the business, and sometimes the feasibility that the business that they are trying to implement here in Brazil changes a lot. So it's important to get in touch with us so we can do some validation, we do some calculation for you. You can show exactly how important the taxes, where it's the best base it, what's best city you can base and operate your business. And additional to that, we are in the middle of a tax reform. So it's important that you get our advisory. You consult us and may check that maybe there is any other impact that gonna make your business uh, any relevant impacts gonna make to your business.
Sure. Going to the next question here.
All right. Thank you, João and Arcilon. So we're gonna talk about a little bit about tax reform. We are talk later a little bit, but what would VAT be like after this tax reform?
Yeah, the good news on the tax reform that are proposed by the House, the Deputy House. Here we have the Senate actually now in the process of evaluating this tax reform. Um, they're trying to reduce the number of VAT. As we are saying on the beginning of this call, we have five VAT, and the idea is to combine on only two different kinds of VAT. Okay, so as I was saying on the beginning of the call, we have three federal VITs and one state and one municipality taxes. So the idea is to combine these three federal VAT that we already said before, the IPI, PIS, COFINS, in one called CBS. Okay, and the state and municipality VIT will be combined in only one called IBS in English. Okay, because it is EBS. Okay, that's the proposal. That's a good news. We expect that that could make the information about taxation in Brazil more clear for foreigners, and also make it more easy the calculation and the taxations for any companies here in Brazil.
From the beginning now, what we are seeing is that the names are changing, but nothing is really how could I say, nothing is totally decided by the government yet. So the name are changing, but we know
Yeah,
that the first thing is the name. After that, all the calculation before uh, on behind of this is going to be changed also. So that's the point, the main point here.
yeah.
And so, do you have any more questions, Giovanna?
So yes, we have the last one. After the tax reform, is there an expectation that will become simpler and more adapted to international standards?
I would say yes. Brazil is on the way to adapt it more to international standards of taxations. Um, I have, for example, related to transfer pricing. That is, we are not talking here today about transfer pricing, but we recently in this year we adopted the international taxations according with OCDE transfer price regulations. That's really good news because Brazil was one of the countries that was totally different from the main countries that have transfer price regulations. That's a good news. And I would say that this tax reform is not going to adapt completely to the international standards, but it's on the way. So first step, I would say. it's a good news. But I'd say more important than just the calculation and the percentage and everything, what is huge in Brazil, it's the obligation, the number of hours that you have to dedicate, usually the accountants, us, to the obligations that they made us report to the tax authority. So it's many of them. Most of them it's electronic. I would say 99% it's electronic obligations that you have to report to the tax authorities. So it's important to have a good system. It's important to have an internal audit that you can reconcile the balance between your statements, your general ledger, your systems, your invoices, and everything that you have. So our expectation is more than just have a better taxation is to reduce the number of hours and obligations that the companies have to report to the tax authorities. But also, I would say that when we say that we are adopting to the international standards, we have a bad news to the international company. It's the taxation over dividends. Brazil and Estonia are the only two countries that are now doesn't have taxations over dividends nowadays. And when you ask me, okay, are we getting adapted to the international standards? So that must be a bad news to the international companies because if all other countries are taxing the dividends, it's the odds that they include that taxations on Brazil legislation of taxes is really high. So I would say let's adopt it internationally, but not for dividends. Let's keep this
It would
topic.
be great. It would be
Yeah,
great. Yeah,
let's keep this topic locally. It's
yeah,
better. But we have a few representatives, so real deputies and senators that's defending to keep the dividends out of taxation. So that's good news. It's not, I would say, a common decision. It's beyond discussion, but we hope we have good news in the future.
for sure. And one thing that I would say also is that Brazil has some efforts to become a OECD member. So
Yeah,
uh, I would say that this tax reform will help Brazil to become a member. It's maybe up to the year of 2028, 29. That's the main date that they gave us to maybe Brazilian will become a member. So it will have to adopt some international rules related to accountants also. So that's the main point that Arcilon told us here now. So the point is Brazil is going to be more clear in taxation, and we can suffer this wave as well. So that's the point.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, as João said, we're trying to be I'm a new member of the OCDE, so Brazil's getting pushed, I would say, by international, by other countries to adopt a better taxation system.
Yeah, that's the point. So that's
We
it.
are
That's it, guys.
finger crossings for this being good for Brazil and the foreign
Uh,
Yeah,
investors, right?
yeah,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, so just a few words here. So we are here. We have a really nice team prepared to provide information for the investor, for international investments, for foreigners that want to come to Brazil. Call us, send us an email. It's our pleasure to help everyone. A lot of things happening in Brazil right now. As I said, transfer pricing change, tax reform, um, but Brazil is still being a huge potential for market.
sure.
Give us a call. We can do a pre-analysis. We can check your business. We can validate your business. We can answer your questions. Our focus, our pleasure, our I would say goal is to help the investors, for investors, to come to Brazil. And yeah, thank you very much for today.
To come to Brazil and succeed, right? That's the
Exactly.
yeah.
Brazil and succeed. Yeah, exactly.
So
And yeah. So yeah, and was a pleasure to be here doing this live today. If you want to, if you that are watching us now, if you want to recommend any topic that you want us to
Sure.
speak about it, it's such a pleasure for us. Feel free to send an email or leave the comments here on YouTube, and we can talk more about it on our next week or next lives that we have in the future.
All right.
Yes.
I'm seeing the comments in here, and we have one question. There is, with the new legislation, are there opportunities for investors who want to take advantage of the giant Brazil?
Yeah, as I was saying before, we're not quite sure how it's gonna work the dividends. Um, we're expecting that we keep the dividends out of the taxation. So yeah, there is a few opportunities regarding to the investors, international investors. I don't think that's gonna be major changes related to the percentage or the way the taxation is being
Yes.
burdened for the transactions. As João was saying, we are just maybe changing the name and combining like three different federal VATs to one, and two states and municipality VAT in one. Um, that's the only news that I have so far. So it's on the process, it's ongoing, but the expectation is related to dividends. I would say it's the only impact, but we have other things, giants in Brazil, that's really important. We have a few benefits regarding to the tax deduction for corporate income taxes. We have R&D deductions that you can use, culture, that's Lei Rouanet that we call here, that you can use also use for deduction. So I say that Brazil, the censor for corporate income tax is high, but there is a lot of opportunity as you get a good advisor for you to have a better reduction for your business and succeed here regarding saving taxes for a business.
Sure. And we have to study actually if the business here in Brazil is the viability of the business here in Brazil. So the point is start from the beginning in the right way, and after that things get clear here for companies, for foreign investors in Brazil. So that's it. That's the main
Yeah,
point.
yeah, exactly,
To start
exactly.
from the beginning, from the right way. So
Thank you
that's
for
it.
your answers. And if one of our watchers, the new call followers, want to do a question for us, we're gonna read some of them.
No, we don't
Um,
have any other questions here for now.
no, all right.
So
So
so that's
thank
it.
you
I
so
think that
much.
yes,
Yeah,
I think that we are done here from today. Thank you guys for the audience. We are here waiting for you. If you have any questions, any doubts, just call our team. We are ready to answer you uh, as as fast as we can. So that's the. Thank you, Arcilon. Thank you, Giovanna.
thank you, Giovanna. Thank you, Joan. Such a pleasure
Thank
to be here,
you.
guys. Bye bye.
Up to
Let's
the
see.
next. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Vou ter que tirar, fala que eu vou tirar da.